Today's a really special day. ISIS is releasing our first white paper with the support of the Ford Foundation, and it's called Tech, Sex, USA, Youth Digital and Reproductive Health, Youth Sexuality and Reproductive Health in the Digital Age. We've been really busy over the last few months, so I've already, just this morning, had half a dozen people say, "Did you get my email?" I'm really sorry if I haven't gotten back to you. What we've been doing is we've been out interviewing stakeholders in the field. We've talked to everyone from digital learning specialists like Dana Boyd to national researchers like Dr. Sheena Bull. We surveyed thousands of youth nationally about their sexual health, learning, and digital habits. And we conducted focus groups with hundreds of youth of color in Oakland, California, and in Chicago, Illinois. From this process, I can tell you, I've got some good news, and I've got some bad news. Let's start with the good news. The teen pregnancy rate has been declining for the past 2 decades. Today, we're at a historic low of 39 per 1,000 pregnancies. 1,000 teens. That's all the good news I have. And I got a lot more slides. When we look at African American and Hispanic teen populations, we see rates of 126 and 127 births per 1,000 teens, respectively. That is more than 3 times the national numbers for the same age group. The disparities don't stop with teen pregnancy. 15 to 24-year-olds comprise half of all the sexually transmitted infections acquired nationally. And more than half of all the HIV infections reported among young people are in the African American community. Chlamydia rates for young African American women are 9 times as high as the rates for Caucasian women. What's going on here? Many of us in this room have been in the business of sex education for decades. We've added it to grade school, middle school, and high school curriculums. We've funded programs at the community, state, and national levels. We've run ads, we've sponsored campaigns, and we've provided tools to parents, teachers, and clergy. So what gives? I would argue that we've lost our perspective. As we adults get farther and farther away from our youth, we forget that sex, both doing it and thinking about it, is a daily reality for young people. We fall into the patterns, and we've become entrenched of thinking that we know better, and we just have to tell youth what to do. But obviously, we're doing it wrong, because while we're reaching some youth with messages that work, we are not reaching our most vulnerable youth. I would challenge everyone here to think about how you actually acquired information about sex when you were growing up. Really acquired it. The high school gym teacher might have come in to speak for a week's worth of health classes, or your parents might have given you the talk. But is that how you really learned about sex? What about sneaking a peek at dirty magazines or videos? What about the information you got from friends or older siblings? What about your hands-on experience? Those were the true sources of knowledge we had growing up. Not true because they were necessarily correct, but true because it's what we paid attention to. Let's stay on this, back up one slide for a moment. Fast forward to today. The landscape is much more complicated. Media's exploded. Sex information's everywhere, from Google to games and Hulu to health class. Now, I want to take a moment to define what I mean about information. Information may not be actually what you're thinking. Information's not limited to the formal clinical texts and pamphlets that we use to educate our kids. Information is actually defined as anything having to do with the subject. And that can include everything from gynecological diagrams to Girls Gone Wild. Everything is information, you guys. And to the rabidly curious and easily aroused, hormone-infused young people out there, the sexier the information, the more they pay attention. Think of it like this. Are kids going to pay attention to Sister Mary Vonage or Nicki Minaj? PE teacher Dan Black or R&B singer Chris Brown? Our Bodies Ourselves or Hot Bodies, hosted by Mel B? I had to learn who all these people were. You may not like this idea. You know, I know the people in this room know, that people are trying to constrain the sources and the types of information that we make available to our youth. But they're not living in reality. All this information is out here. And there's no denying it to those who have the will to learn and to find out. They will find a way. And I'm as concerned as you are that some of the information they're finding may not be correct, and that it can lead people to all sorts of bad decision-making and consequences. But you have to look at this as a marketplace of information, and you have to respect youth as consumers. They will not settle for the product that we give them. They will seek out the product that they want. The product they want, interestingly enough, is what we want them to have, but not in the way we've been delivering it. To illustrate this idea, take a look at a video that was developed for ISIS by Funny or Die, a very popular, irreverent site with videos made by youth.
You can get pregnant from wearing your boyfriend's unwashed boxer shorts.
If you don't want to get STD, spray your parts with a garden hose.
If you run out of condoms, it's okay to use a plastic bag.
Chlorine kills sperm, so as long as you have sex in a pool or a hot tub, you're good to go.
Pregnancy only happens if you secretly want it to.
A penny in your vagina prevents pregnancy. Everybody knows copper kills sperm.
Don't worry. You can always pray your STDs away.
STDs are only transmitted in the last 10 seconds of intercourse.
Hell yeah, you can get STDs from a toilet seat. Why do you think they have those paper thingies in the bathroom?
People who get STDs are disgusting losers.
I love the toilet seat thing. I don't know what those covers are for, so anyone want to tell me later, I'm open. But there's two things going on in that video. There's content and there's medium. First, the kids are telling us that they already know better. They want real information, not old wives' tales. They're basically saying, we can handle it, we know what's going on, and if you keep doing things the same old way, we're actually going to make fun of you. The second thing that's going on is the medium. Online video has exploded. It's the communication mode of choice, along with social media and text messaging. The more we're out there talking to youth, the more we realize that they're trying to tell us something. And to date, we as adult health professionals have not been paying attention. Consider the statistics. 93% of our youth are online. That's where they live, not in books or in health classes, but in the cloud, the computer cloud, that is. And it's where we have to go. 75% of young people have mobile phones. 54% text daily. 87% sleep with their phones. 73% use social networking sites. And an even higher percentage of low-income youth of color use the same social networking sites. 45% have searched for health information that's hard to find, hard to talk about. Since our audience lives in the cloud, it's where we need to go. How do we do that? There are 4 trends I want us to take advantage of. And if we do so as a field, we have a lot of people here today, and more online, watching via live streaming video. If we do this together, we will magnify our effectiveness. The first one is optimized search. When an urban youth has a question about sex, they Google it and shit. Or they might use Bing or Ask.com or any other site, but search is the first place they go. According to our focus groups, the results they get are moderately satisfying at best. What do we need to do? First, we need to understand how youth are searching. They're not going online and typing in sex information, sex education. But they're saying, hey, where can I get some of those good gold box condoms? Free. They're not looking for HIV testing. They want to know what to do if they have a sore pimple or a rash down there. Once we understand the search, we have to get smart about search engine optimization so the right answers show up on top. Okay, so the second thing. We have to think push, not pull. What we've been doing is hanging around, we set up our sites, we set up our surveys, and we wait for young people to come to them. No. We have to be out where they are. That's our job. We have to deliver messages, and we have to work on increasing access to services where youth already are and when they want it. Don't launch a survey and ask them to come to your site to take it. Go out to a popular gaming site like IMView and post a link there. Put a button on a mobile platform landing page that says sex info. And when they want the information, they'll click on it. Third, talk to, not at kids. Kids are smart. They know that not using a condom is stupid. They tell us that. They use the word stupid. We need to get a little more sophisticated about the complexities of their sex lives and their relationships. Saying use a condom is not doing the trick. We have to deliver information and engage in educational conversations that are meaningful. And if you infuse a little humor into your delivery, everyone ends up in on the joke. We're aiming for active, engaged participants in their own sexual health education. Fourth, keep your head in the cloud. We need to invest in the new media platforms that define youth's experience today. Multimedia, apps, gaming. We have to be ubiquitous. A text message is not going to change someone's life. But regular text messages, combined with Facebook page status updates and real-life, in-person contact and events, just might. So these are the 4 trends. Optimize search, push, don't pull, talk to young people, not at them, and stay in the cloud. They hold more potential to connect with youth than the pamphlets and the talks we've been relying upon. They allow young people to become participants, to explore on their own in safe environments, and to seek out the information they want in the form they want it. In other words, we need to transform sex ed from boring to brand. Like energy drinks, sneakers, makeup, and music, we want kids to be sex education consumers. We want them to engage, we want them to learn, and we want them to make the right choices for their lives. This time it'll work. How do I know? Sex sells. If you look at all of the big corporations, we sell cars, we sell clothing, we sell music with sex. We do not sell sex education with sex. There's one more really important component to all this, which is about evaluation and funding. At yesterday's researchers pre-conference meeting, we had about 60 preeminent researchers from across the country. We emphasized the discrepancy between the speed of funding cycles and the speed of technological change. In order to keep up with the pace of Silicon Valley, We've got to evaluate, iterate, and fund innovation. Small challenge grants, bringing new, young researchers into the fold. These are ways to move the field ahead and keep pace with the times. To that end, if you want to be part of this, text ISIS to 61827, and you'll get on our mailing list. Promise no more than once a month text messages. And we also have, you can download the white paper if you've got a smartphone. We've got a QR code, or you can go directly to the ISIS website at isis-inc.org. Free white paper with all the information, the stats, and the process of what we just went through and what we heard from youth. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for embracing the challenge. Sex ed has never been easy, and you may find some of the ideas I presented today challenging, but I wouldn't expect otherwise. Unless we start experimenting ourselves, we leave the next generation in a very challenging position.